Breaking news, guys. I think the days of the Ghetto Superstar Congresswoman are about to be officially done. So I'm checking out the numbers right now live because this is the primary down in Texas for that Senate primary race. And of course, we know that Jasmine Ghetto Crockett going up against the little squirrely guy, James Tallarico. What a deal. It's not looking good. So we're going to check out the numbers, and then I'm going to bring up something. I'm wondering. My question is this. How are we going to blame this on racism? I know that Jasmine Crockett is one of the biggest proponents of blaming everything on racism, and maybe it is, but there's a twist in this, and I'll be curious to see how this works out because of a certain individual that did not come to her rescue. It's very interesting. Now, we know that Kamala Harris did come out and endorse Jasmine Crockett late in the game. That doesn't say much. But this certain other individual did not step up to the plate. And I think that, it's going to be hard to holler about racism, and it makes it really complicated. So I'll just be curious to, see what you guys' thoughts are about this. But let's just run over here to the desktop. Let me pull up the website, and I'm going to see what the numbers are right now at this very moment. So here we are. This is going to end. I think they've got the polls open until 9 p.m., and it's 8:41 p.m. Central Time right now. And I don't think it's going to take a lot of time for them to call this. And you can see they just updated the numbers right there as we're looking. So as we see on the screen right now, here it is. James Tallarico, 583,502, which is at 53%. And Jasmine, the Ghetto Crockett, Ghetto Superstar, at 504,900 for 45.9%. And that's interesting because at first she was down 9 points, and then she was up 5 points, in the polls leading up to this. And then we find out, when they had her up at 5 points, that was probably inaccurate because she's down 7 points right now. So she kind of clawed out 2 extra points, but she's not coming close. And I don't think that this is going to turn out well for her. So they're saying right here that there's 45.1% that are left, a remaining 1.3 million. But I don't know, guys. Usually when you're this far behind, you're talking 7 points. 46% to 53%. That's 7%. Or is that 8? 46, 53, that's 7. Yeah. It's not going to be an easy trick to pull to catch up 7 points this late in the game when you're talking 18 minutes left to go before it's done. And especially when the gap right now is reflecting what the polls are showing within 2 percentage points. So when you come over here to the Republican side, it is interesting to note while we see John Cornyn winning, he's in the lead here, but they've only got 467,911 voting for him to Ken Paxton's 442,000. And the guy I like, Wesley Hunt, he's in dead last at 13%. So there's more people coming out to vote on the Democrat side than what the Republican side is. And I think the reason for that is that people on the Republican side, they really don't care, where the Democrats are thinking, we're really into this because we want to steal a Senate seat from the Republicans and take out John Cornyn. And I don't think that's going to happen. So things will probably stay the same. And John Cornyn, he's not like, a MAGA type of guy. He's stood in the way of President Trump on a lot of things. But Jasmine wanted to be the one to stand in the way and take on Donald Trump head on. But I think that James Tallarico is going to win this primary, and then he's going to lose to John Cornyn. But anyway, the first thing that we know is, the style. Do you really think that this whole style has helped her, or does it hurt her? I think it hinders her. And then does it do anything for this whole argument about racism being the reason? or does it fuel the fire? I mean, let's just think about it. All of the crazy stuff she said. In fact, let's just review some quick hits from some of the best of Jasmine Crockett. Cut to the clip.
Jasmine Crockett, though, you tell me, but she's certainly seen as a rising star in her party. She's been seen as a powerful communicator with the Democrat message. She has had, though, some out-of-pocket comments, we'll put it that way. Here's some of them. Listen.
Somebody slap me and wake me the up, because I'm ready to get on with it.
If you could speak directly to Elon Musk, what would you say?
When I see ICE, I see slave patrols.
If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Yeah, so we had all of that. Those are some of the moments that she was doing the whole ghetto thing. I personally don't understand it. I think that, okay, you're a representative, you're in the U.S. Congress. Is that the way you act? I never act like that, out in public. And the only time I would even talk like she does is just being silly with friends or family. But I don't think that it's wise to ever act out like that. In mixed company, it's just kind of embarrassing. And to me, in my opinion, it only fuels the fire for stereotyping black people. This is the picture that she's painting that we don't need painted for all of the white folks out there that think this is the way that black women act. Okay, well, now let's get to the topic at hand about the racism thing and what I found to be very surprising. Okay. So anyway, what was very surprising to me is who did not support her in this primary. And that would be none other than Barack Hussein Obama. So President Obama did not come out to support Jasmine Crockett. He supported James Tallarico. And what really has me puzzled is Barack Obama, during the presidential election of 2024, he called out the black community and he said, look here, Pookie, y'all need to come on out and support Kamala Harris, because right now it looks like we're being hypocrites and not supporting a black woman. So unless you are a racist, or if you're one that can't support a black woman, you need to come out and vote for Kamala Harris for the presidential race. So basically he shamed everybody in the black community and said that, it's your fault, especially black men. I guess he thinks that maybe they're chauvinistic or something like that. And regardless of what they believe, what they stand for, their ideals or their confidence in Kamala, he said, you got to come out and support her and vote for her because she's a black woman. And then we turn right around, and in this primary in Texas, he's out here stumping for Tallarico. Now, he could have kept his mouth shut and stayed out of it because he's not from Texas. But no, he came on the record speaking in support of Tallarico and did not say one mumbling word about how you're supposed to support the black woman no matter what, just because. So I'm scratching my head on that. I don't understand it. After he laid that big guilt trip on people during that presidential election. Now, I didn't put a guilt trip on me because I wasn't going to vote for Kamala in the first place. Thank God she did not win, because now we know that her vice presidential candidate, who could have been one step away from running the whole country, is at the seat of $19 billion of fraud, and his goose is cooked. He's in real hot water. One of the most corrupt governors that I've ever experienced in my lifetime, with all the crap that's going on in mini Somaliota. But I digress. So Jasmine Crockett, of course, we had the whole big deal where Stephen Colbert had Tallarico on, and then Colbert claimed that it was the Trump administration that was coming after him with the equal whatever rule. And then Jasmine called him out and said, no, it was not the FCC that was behind this. because you could have had me on for the equal whatever rule, and you didn't give me a competitive advantage by giving him the platform to speak. So she accused, basically within the Democratic Party, of racism against a black woman. She said it several times, directly and indirectly, that it was racism. Because she's black and a woman, she was getting unfair treatment, not getting the coverage that Tallarico was getting, and that people are going out and voting based on skin color alone. And that's usually something that you're supposed to levy against the Republican Party. They're supposed to be the bigots and the racists, but then she turned around and put that on her own party. So how do we square that with the fact that Barack Obama did not support you? So is he a racist? He was calling everybody else racist. He was calling everyone else male chauvinist. He was throwing black men under the bus for not supporting a black woman. And then he left her out in the cold, left her high and dry. And, well, what does that do for her argument? Can we say that it's racism? And I'm not saying that it isn't. It might be, because like I said, she feeds the stereotype. The way that she acts, the whole ghetto persona, which is fake, because I know where she grew up. It's 2 hours up the road from me. And I have a lot of family from St. Louis, Missouri, and I've known about the institutions of higher education that she attended, and has no reason to act the way that she does. But she got it in her head that being ratchet and talking the ghetto yip yap was the way to go to be relatable and come across as this big fighter. But she's feeding the stereotypes. So that's kind of two things that aren't working out for you when you're screaming racism, where you're feeding the stereotypes and then you're turning around and accusing people of not supporting you because you're a female and you're black. I don't understand. I don't know. I'm not for the way that she acts out in public. I'm not. And she goes too far, making fun of the governor in a wheelchair and calling him Governor Hot Wheels, cursing constantly, doing dances in the White House, not the White House, in the Capitol building. You remember when she was out there doing the dances during the first presidential, the State of the Union address, not the last one, but the previous one to that. So she took every chance that she could to show that, she's sassy and, she's young and she's hip and she could talk the ghetto vernacular and go off on people and cut up and act a fool. And then accuse everybody of being racist. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that? And what do you think is going to happen from now? What is she going to do? Is she going to end up on The View? Is she going to be what? Maybe she'll... I doubt if she practices law, because I don't think she's got much success in that. Maybe she's going to become an activist. I don't know. Do you think that she's going to run for some type of local office, or maybe mayor of Dallas? What do you think she's going to do? Post it in the comments below. And do you think that she has an argument to blame this on racism? What are your thoughts about that? And do you think Tallarico has a chance of winning this election? I do not. I don't. The midterms are going to be a mess. It's going to be interesting. And I need to do a video because, for a while we were hearing all this talk whenever President Trump told Texas to redistrict. And then all the Democrats are screaming and crying about it. And everyone was reporting that the Republicans are going to crush the midterms because Texas was going to add 4 or 5 seats and Missouri added 1 where I live. And he had all these states redistricting. And then it blew up in their face because California did it. And theirs worked out where the Supreme Court didn't knock down their redistricting. And they might add, I think, what are they getting, 5 seats? And then you got, I believe it was either West Virginia or Maine, one of the states out east, where they were going to knock down 4 seats for the Republicans and make it to where it was 10-1, where they were going to gain, I think, overall 10 seats. And so then the tide turned and people were saying, okay, it looks like the Democrats are going to crush the midterm election. So then the SAVE Act thing comes up and they're saying that without illegals voting, there's no way the Democrats are going to win the midterms. And everyone was saying, that now the tide has turned again and the Republicans are going to crush the midterms. And now I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell of the SAVE Act passing, because the leader of the Senate for the Republicans is not even going to get the bill put on the floor. So it's probably not going to happen. And now you hear talk that the Democrats will take over and that Trump is going to get impeached for the rest of the time that he is in office. They're going to go after him for war crimes and God knows what. But I don't understand those arguments either, because the Senate will have to fall in order for that to happen. And I don't think that the Republicans are going to lose the majority in the Senate. So we're going to have to dig into that, because I think there's a lot of talk going on both sides where I don't trust anything that the Republicans are saying or that the Democrats are saying. So post your comments below. Let's check back one last time. Let's see here. Okay, it is 8:54, 6 minutes to go, and it's still 53% to roughly 46%. This is a done deal. So I'm sorry, Jasmine. I think this is the end of the road for you. You better start polishing off that resume, because this is a done deal. Well, let's get a discussion going on it. Let me know what your thoughts are. It's all I got for this one. This is Carlton, and I am out.